This is Newswatch.
Unions representing Erie County workers is inching closer to an agreement with county government. The negotiating team for AFSCME Local 2666 met again today with county negotiator Rick Adams. They are still discussing contract language concerning leaves of absence and mileage reimbursements. They are far apart on money. The union's first proposal called for a $4 an hour pay increase, or about 50%. The county is planning on about 3%.
Is asking for a wage increase of about $740, that is. The county is offering only about $310. Even if there is no agreement, AFSCME cannot strike before January 9th. State law prohibits a strike for at least 20 days after a mediator enters the contract talks.
Have been continuing their negotiations with county workers, but not with a great deal of success. A bargaining session was held with representatives of the AFSCME union, which has 220 county workers as members. The two sides are still reportedly far apart in their positions on wages. The contract with the union expires tomorrow night at midnight, but since the state mediator was just recently called in, no strike can begin until January 9th. AFSCME negotiators expressed dissatisfaction with the talk.
County Courthouse, where 223 AFSCME union employees have not yet agreed to a new labor contract with the county governments. The issue at the courthouse is also boiled down to dollars and cents. The Lynch administration has offered its workers a 1.6% pay hike, about $310 an employee, with no increments in July. The union wants 5%, $739 an employee, with increments that would give many of the employees an additional $273 job classification increment in July. Asked today if any progress had been made in this dispute over money, county negotiator Rick Adams said this.
I don't think we made any progress. Even though we did discuss wages, neither side did anything more than just have a general discussion about it.
We learned later that there will be another bargaining session tomorrow. The question is, if no progress is made then, will there be a county strike effective New Year's Day?
Well, I think technically the union can't go on strike until January 9th, and so I'm not even thinking about that issue till we get close to it.
County workers and negotiators are trying to settle a contract agreement before the present one expires tomorrow. The AFSCME union wants its members to receive a $740 pay raise. The county will only offer its employees another $310. But there is no threat of a walkout tomorrow. AFSCME cannot walk the picket lines until January 9th. State law prohibits a strike for at least 20 days after a mediator enters the contract talks. Over at City Hall.
When the city of Erie...
The Erie County Courthouse contract negotiations for 223 AFSCME employees are down to the wire with no agreement in sight. Hal Richmond reports that a strike threat there is not imminent.
The Lynch administration has offered its workers a 1.6% pay hike, about $310 an employee, with no increments in July. The union wants 5%, $739 an employee, with increments that would give many of the employees an additional $273 job classification increment in July. Asked today if any progress had been made in this dispute over money, county negotiator Rick Adams said this.
I don't think we made any progress, even though we did discuss wages. Neither side did anything more than just have a general discussion about it.
We learned later that there will be another bargaining session tomorrow. The question is, if no progress is made then, will there be a county strike effective New Year's Day?
Well, I think technically the union can't go on strike until January 9th, and so I'm not even thinking about that issue till we get close to that date.
Hal Richmond, ICU News.
The city of Mainville and Shirley Ramsey with the weather, and Phil Patika on sports. This is ICU News, the Hotline Edition. This portion sponsored by Bianchi Selix and Lincoln Mercury, 54th and Peach, the most exciting dealer in town.
Good evening, everyone.
On this, the final day of 1985, existing labor contracts between county government and its two unions, the PSSU and AFSCME, expire. And so one more try was made today to reach a contract agreement, and it failed. At noon today, AFSCME and the PSSU joined forces to picket the county courthouse to protest what they termed the county's offer of a 17-cent pay hike. As one sign put it, "My kid was paid more than that." To Gene City, the president of the PSSU local, the union representing the county's children's services caseworkers, a 17-cent pay hike, $310 a year, a hike of under 2%, is unacceptable.
We think as professional employees that's an insult. That's really where we're coming from at this point. It is a money issue, but we also feel that recognition for what we do for the county is very important.
That 17 cents an hour comes to an increase of about 1.6%, $310 a year.
Yeah, something like that, something like that.
What do you want?
Well, our last offer that we had on the table was for roughly $1,200, which we feel is about average for what other professionals in the county and in the local area are receiving.
So, again today, it comes down to the question, will there be a strike against county governments? And Fred Weddick answered for AFSCME.
Well, that's hard to say. We have till the 9th of January. We're going to continue negotiations, and I think when we get down there that 17 cents is still on the table, we're going to have to take it back to the membership.
PSSU, on the other hand, has not yet called in a mediator, may do so on January 7th, which puts any possible PSSU strike around January the 27th. But all the strike talk may be unnecessary. At the close of today's AFSCME negotiation, Weddick said that the talks had been extended, Rick Adams promising a new county wage offer at a meeting scheduled for this coming Friday.
Expires at midnight, and so far, no new agreement. And for now, neither union is threatening to strike. Carol Pella has the latest.
Members of the Pennsylvania Social Services Union, which represents children's services workers, were on the picket line today, not on strike, but just to let taxpayers know they'll continue to work even though their contract with the county will expire. They claim they're insulted by the county's 17 cents an hour pay increase offer. The union wants more.
Well, our current proposal is right around $1,200 a year, which is pretty average with other professionals in the local area. That's teachers and other people. City employees have been offered 5%, which they turned down.
That's just a normal. County negotiator Rick Adams says 17 cents was the initial offer, based on the budget.
We made a proposal based on fact, how much money was budgeted. That's what the 17 cents an hour is. We're going to be making additional offers that are going to cost additional amounts, and that money's going to have to come from other places in the budget.
Those other places are reserve accounts. Adams says labor contracts are first in line for that extra spending. He insists PSSU will have a contract without a strike. The other union representing county workers, AFSCME, met with Adams today and will meet again Friday. Money is the issue with AFSCME. Again, Adams says the county will make a better wage proposal the union will accept. Carol Pella, Newswatch.
They're still at it at the county courthouse. They're still trying to reach a labor contract settlement, still trying to avoid a strike. Another all-day bargaining session between the Lynch administration and county government's AFSCME union today. When the two sides broke for a while at 4 o'clock, union negotiator Fred Weddick had this answer to the question, have you got some good news?
I don't believe there is any good news, to be truthful with you. We do not feel that 20 cents an hour is a fair raise. That during the past that we have just settled for our increments and so forth. We've helped this administration out when they said they were down and out, and we feel that we need more than 20 cents an hour. That doesn't even meet inflation right now.
What disappoints Weddick is a county pay hike offer of roughly $390 or under 2%. Asked at this point, what would it take to get the union to settle, he gave this answer.
Well, I think that we could probably settle this contract for 5%.
The two sides called it quits at 5:30 today to meet again sometime next week. County negotiator Rick Adams did say this, that he'll have a new financial offer for the union next week, no increase in the wage offer, but he will increase the ante in other economic areas. He would not say what those other economic areas are.
Unions split their vote on the county's final contract offer tonight. According to Fred Weddick of AFSCME, about 33 professionals in the county health department voted to reject the offer and go on strike. Another 180 to 200 union members who hold court-related and residual jobs voted to accept the offer, but only by a narrow margin. Union members met earlier tonight to vote on the offer. Weddick says he doesn't know when the health employees will set a date for the strike. Good employment.
Who are members of the American Federation of State, County, and Municipal Employees Union voted this evening on a new contract offer. The courthouse residual unit and court-related unit accepted a new contract by a narrow margin, while the third unit, professionals at the health department, voted to strike. Union President Fred Wettich told Action News he'll be calling a state mediator tomorrow and then decide with the health department employees what plan of action to take and when or if they will actually go on.